screen. Okay. What we have here today is just a recap of from the previous class that we'll be doing uh, in this class. Okay. So it's all today's class is about canvas transformations. So first of all, if we try to look at what is a transformation, uh, any change is a transformation that we are trying to change something. So basically transformation is a method of changing something. So we are trying to change the state of a object, how the object looks. The state may be the size of the object or the position of the object or the alignment of the object. So any state, it can be of any state. So we are trying to change the state of the object. So the change may take place when a particular event occurs. That means either the change take place when you call a function or you click a button or a particular time has elapsed. So the events I told you, it can be anything like clicking a button or loading a page or change of time or your mouse over or etc. You know what are the events. So when a event occurs, the transformation might take place. So in canvas, how to make transformations? So basically there are three major types of transformation in canvas. These are scaling, rotation and translation. So we'll be looking into that one by one. Scaling transformation is used to transform the current object either bigger or smaller. So either we can increase the size of the object using scaling or we can decrease the size of the object using scaling. So basically this is what a scaling transformation looks like. So we are changing the size of the object in x and y direction. So in order to scale a object using scaling, you will have a context of scale function and the parameters are scale width and scale height. The scale width and scale height will have values 1, 2, 3, 4 numeric values which represent 100%, 200%, 300% respectively by how much you want to scale the object. If you want to reduce it, it will go below 1, between 0 and 1. So when we are scaling, one more important thing to keep in mind is that the position of the object will also change with respect to the scale width and height. Okay, so if we are scaling up the object by 200%, the position of the object from the origin will also move according to that scaling amount. So we have to keep that in mind also. So one example of scaling is that this is what we try to achieve. So a rectangle is there and we start from the very beginning. We are scaling it by 200% every time, so it is moving away from the origin and it is increasing its size. Okay, so that is what a scaling transformation looks like. So the example is here. What we have done. Okay. Anyways, uh, we have done this in the previous class for scaling. Now, so what today I want to do is I'll do that. I'll do that with one. Uh, why the address is not valid? I don't know. It's already there. Okay, we'll check this example once we are done with the theory part. No issues. So next transformation is called a rotate transformation. So the rotate transformation was to change the alignment of a object. Uh, so in canvas, so we use angle to rotate by how much angle we want to change the alignment, and the angle follows in clockwise direction, and the rotation will affect the drawings made after the rotation is done. So once we rotate, then we draw something, then only the rotation effect takes place. So that we have to keep in mind. Uh, all the angles we are providing in the rotate function should be converted to radians. So we have to multiply this by pi by 180 degrees. So this is what rotation function code should have to rotate angles in radians. Okay, none of this is working, so we'll do that. So I hope rotation is clear, and then we go to translation. So the third way of transforming object is translation. So this is what a translation looks like, that we are changing the position of the object size remains same. We are just changing the position of the object from one place to another. So how we can translate objects is we change the origin of the coordinates. So once we change the origin of the coordinates, that means the position of the object will change. So we are trying to redraw the same object after changing the origin. So that is what I have just told. So in order to create translation, we need to context or translate method is used to translate the object. So the examples we have already seen in the previous class. So this was about the recap from the previous class. Today's class I will see how to create a translation using create a transformation using an event. So in order to create a transformation using an event, we need to specify what event we are trying to do. Okay, what event we will try to create. Uh, so if you have anything to ask, you can ask. If any query is there. So the examples that were not running. So first one was scaling. So this is what we had generated in scaling, and if we try to look into the code of it, what we did is we already know what we have done. So here we are trying to we created a canvas of height 300 by 170, and then we identify in the JavaScript, we identify the canvas using document.getElement by id, and then the context is created here, and then we created a rectangle of starting from the position of x and y as 5 and 5, and the width and height is 25 and 15. Then we scale it to 2 by 2, that means 200%, and redraw the same rectangle, and we go on to drawing it 3 more times. So the position also changes, and the size of the rectangle also changes with every scaling. That is how we did the scaling. uh, Next we came across rotate, and if we try to play run it. So here the angle is rotated. How rotation is done is simply we again created a context object. We fill the style with red. Then I told in rotate first we have to rotate, then we have to create. So first we rotated by 20 degrees, rotated the angle by 20 degrees, converted it to radians. and then we created a rectangle of from the position 50 20 and width and height of 150. So it is and the rectangle is rotated by 20 degrees. So very simple. Next we did translation. uh, so the position is changed and the code behind it is how we translated was this. Okay, so we created a rectangle, then we translated the origin to 70 70, and then we created another rectangle of the same width and height and the same position. So the rectangle seems to be changing its position. So these were the three examples that we saw. Now I want to trigger this. Since all the things we saw, it was just static. Now if I want to make it dynamic, I need to trigger it. So first of all, what we'll try to do is we will try to create a rectangle and we try to move it in x direction. Okay, now I want inputs from you how to achieve that. I'm just copying this part. How to achieve that? Any inputs from students? So I want to create. So I have a canvas here. Let's make the high distance more. The size of the canvas and be increasing by thousand, and then I create a rectangle. CTX dot create a rectangle. Fill rect. So I start from 5 comma 5, 150 by 100. Script. Save it as move dot html. So I want to make give some movements. So let's see. So if I play it now, I play this now, it is static. So we have this canvas and I want to move it in this direction. So any inputs, how we can do that, students, in the chat box.
CTX dot transform.
Yes, so CTX dot transform we can use, and I want some event with that. Which event you want to use? Let's take an event. Okay, let's try to do it using a button click. If we click a button, the rectangle should move. Okay, so we need to create a button. So after the canvas, we create a button. So in HTML5, it is not input type button, it's simply button. So we created a button with on click. When I click on the button, something should happen. So we call it start. We start the, so click to move. So we created a button, and what I do, I just reduce this height to around 200 so the button can be seen. So let's see what we have now. to have a button here and I want to move it in this direction. Okay. So we will break statement here, break that here, save it, then button comes here. Okay. Now I want to move this rectangle in X direction. Without translate, can we do it? Without translate, can we do it? So let's look into one idea. So every time I call this functions start, or I would call this move. I call this move. Okay. Every time I call this function move, so what happens? It should move in the x direction. Okay. So how will it move in x direction? I need to create a function called move. So let's call this function as this is how we create function in JavaScript, correct? So mm, so this function should contain only this value. It is already created. Rectangle is created. Now when I click on move, it should move in the x direction. So what was the original value of x here? What was the original value of x here? 5. Okay, we can all say it's 5. Okay. So the value of x by default is 5 since we started with 5. Okay. Now we click on the function move. What happens is uh, we try to clear the rectangle. Which rectangle I will clear? I will clear the whole canvas. So what was the size of the canvas? From the origin I will start and I will just clear 1000 by 200. First I'm just doing this. Is it working? Let me check. Yes. So when I click on the button, the rectangle is gone. Why the rectangle is gone? I'm using a function called clear rect to clear the rectangle. Once I've cleared the rectangle, I can do what? I can increase the size by 1. Okay. So x plus equal to 1. So this means x equal to x plus 1. You can write x equal to x plus 1 also or x plus plus also. Uh, so now I will create the rectangle once again ctx dot fill left. Or if you don't want to move by 10 1 you can move by 10 values x is a fill rect and this is the same. So in place of 5 now I will just give x and then 5 comma 150 comma 100. Okay, you saw the movement of 10. I go on clicking it, I will go on moving now. Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is very simple. So I did it without translating. This is the basic thing. I just move the coordinates. I just change the x coordinate. Okay, you can go on doing this. So but I want to stop here. It should not go beyond this. So what to do now? It is going inside. So where I want to stop? I want to stop when this hits the boundary wall here. It should not, next time I click move, it should go to the starting point. So what to do then? Any idea? Any inputs?
Again, we will use clear React.
When
Okay.
to clear? There is some condition must be achieved, right?
Will from
Help me with this. I'm just
coordinate.
waiting what code to write. Just help me with this. Any one of you, just help me with this.
So
Yes,
when the value of x-axis will reach 1,000,
and the value of x axis will reach 1000. Okay, good. So where to write?
like the canvas width
Yes, yes. Where to
1,000.
write? Where to write? So what should I write? That what code should I write? You just told when it should reach, when the value of x reaches 1000. Correct. So
Yes,
what should I
yes.
write now? How to check that? So whenever there is checking, this is basic. Follow the basic programming skills. So if I want to check where to stop now, what to do?
So
So
if
if
else maybe.
Yes, correct.
yes,
Very
sir.
good. If else. So where to write if else?
So after fill X,
At which line should I write that code?
So after fill rect,
After
ctx
rect.
dot fill rect.
Okay, ctx dot field, or I should write it here.
yes, sir.
Because after increasing by 10, I should check whether it is 1000 only. Right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes. If x is equal to 1000, then what to do? I have written. Then what to do?
CTX clear React
ctx clear rect. And what should be the value of x?
0, sir.
No,
1,000
we
and 200.
started from 5
Same
now.
as above, sir.
We started from
Yes,
5.
sir.
So we make it 5
Uh,
itself. Starting position. So
yes, sir.
simply x is equal to 5. Done?
Yes,
Understood? If the
yes, sir.
value of x is 1000, it will be converted to 5 automatically. Okay. So let's save it and see what we tried, whether it is working or not. So we're trying to move it. See, now it is not going, not going, not going, not going. Is it working? No. Did I refresh the
Sir,
page?
maybe.
Yes. Save the page. Yes, I save the page. If x is equal to 1000 and x is equal to 5, then it should go to 5. Value of x is 5. What happened? No, it is not working. Let's try it again. It is not working. Why is it not working? For so once I click on move, it clears it x equal to x plus 10. Okay. So x was 5 x equal to 5 plus 10 is equal to 15, comma 5 will get this coordinate. So why is it not showing that? Okay, let's make x 0. 0 plus. No, it is not working. Why is it not working? Hard to see. Have to check now. Equal to 0 and clearing this red x equal to x plus 10 into x is equal to 0, 0 comma 5. Or I just write it above this. My code was better than equal to 5. The condition was not met. So trying to move it, trying to move it. Yes, yes. Now it is okay. So see, what was the error here was as soon as I was increasing by 10, so suppose the last value was 1000, the next time it went to 1010. So we were just checking on equal to. So that was the problem. So it never came into this condition. So since it already moved to 1010 and we had to, and that condition was never met. So we didn't get back to what we wanted. Okay. Is this code clear now, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. If this code is clear, now I don't want a button to do it. I want a timer to do it now. Okay, I want a timer to do this. So how to do use a timer to do the same thing? Suppose I click on the button. Every time I will not go on clicking the button. Once I click, it will start and it will start moving. So what to do? I told you about a function. Can you just recall that function for me?
Time maybe.
Yes. Yes.
Set time.
Set. Set
Time.
time out. Suppose I call this.
So inside that, yeah, inside that function, we can call that move function.
Yes, yes, yes. So it will be like a recursive function,
So uh,
right?
recursive
It
function.
will be
Yes, sir.
somewhat
Yes, sir.
like a. It is not a recursive function. It's somewhat like a recursive function. Okay. Um,
Yes, sir. Yes.
so
As the time increases, it will continuously calling the move function.
yes.
And then we get the output.
Okay.
Maybe, sir. I'm not sure.
Set timeout. What should I call? Move. Okay. After how much time? I should call the move function after how much time? Suppose 1 second. So it is 1000 milliseconds. Is it correct or not? I don't know. Set timeout. I have to just check. One of the codes I try to recreate something. see what it's, yes, it's working. Great. So we tried to do animation and we are successful in that. Correct. After every 1 second, the function is called and it is working. So you can create your own animations now, right? Playing with the coordinates. Very interesting. Let's see if it recreates. It comes back to from where we started. Yes, working. Uh, if I wanted to stop, what to do? If I wanted to stop, what to do? No, it will continuously be moving now. If I wanted to stop, what to do?
We can use a rectifier
Huh?
effects also.
If I create a click on a button,
Again,
yes. If I want click on a button called stop, it should stop. So what to do? How to make it stop?
In- inside that inside that clear function, we can simply write ctext dot clear rectangle
CPF.
to
Where
stop.
where will I write that? You have to think about it.
So we have to write another function like we done move function in this case.
Hmm. So there I will clear it. So the timer
Yes,
is
sir.
running, timer is running, timer is running. Timer is running. So I have to pass some information here, whether I'm starting or I'm moving. So in that case, I'll just pass some values here. Suppose if it is start, I'll pass 1. Okay. Then I create another button. I'll just give some space. I create another button to stop. Okay. And I pass a parameter called 2. Click to stop. Okay. So I create another button calling the same function move. So now let's take that value. I'll not call it x, we'll call it parameter, so I call it EAR. So if EAR is equal to 2, so what to do? If EAR equal to 1, only then we will do this. So I clicked and the parameter is 2. The parameter is 2. So what I do, I redirect to another function called stop. I call a function called stop, or I can write the code here itself. It's better to move out. So what will the stop function do? There is a problem here. There is a problem here. If I start parameter 1, it will go on. It will stop. So what the stop function should do? Stop function should clear the rectangle, should recreate, might work, I don't know, I've not tried this. This is not working because every time it is checking the parameter. Okay. Um, this on this line we have to think now. On this line we have to think now how to make it stop. So this is not working. This is not working. So if we cannot use this, we cannot use this here. So that is this, no parameters to pass. So we tested this. We cannot do this here. So what we do is let's keep it move. Let's call stop. Did it stop? No. Uh, so for this, what we have is we have to look into one more function, that is clear timeout. Okay, so we have to think about one more function, because if this is called, then we have to call clear timeout. Unless we call clear timeout, it will go on running. Uh, it will go on calling the function. So stop won't work. So stop won't work unless it is there. So we have to call a function called clear timeout. So that is what we need. So how to write a clear timeout function? Do you all remember? Very simple. How to create a, anyone who remembers how to write a clear timeout function? So I don't have to write anything here.
You
Simply
set timeout and function
yes,
inside it.
clear clear timeout. The parameter is tm. I just call that
Yes, sir.
parameter, and this tm parameter I have to make it global in that case.
And after that parameter, we can also add from how much time that it will get timed out.
Yes, yes, let's try that. It should be global since it will be shared by both the functions. And save it. Let's check if we can do this. This works here. Yes, great. Stop. Okay. We click on move again. It is moving. You can stop. Okay. So now you can use it on your own to do whatever you need to do. Okay. Whatever animations you want to do. This is just translation I just showed you. You can do scaling in a similar way. You can go on increasing the size of something, again decreasing it. Movements will be there, so you can create your own animations. uh, is this clear? The code is clear, or do I need to repeat it once again?
Clear, sir?
Clear. So this clear, why I
Clear, sir.
make it
Clear, sir.
global? Okay, why I made this global, can you tell me that?
Use
Variable needs
use
to share with both the function.
Correct, very good. Since
Or,
it's a,
or
yes,
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 sir.
this variable will be the there are two terms. One is called the lifetime of a variable, right? Like, right, if you go to basics of C programming, there is something called lifetime and scope of a variable, right? when I need the scope of a variable, if I just declare the variable here, the scope of the variable will be limited to the function move only. Whereas if I make it global, the scope of the variable is the whole program. Okay, so this variable will be shared by both the functions. So I've made it global outside the function. So I think this is clear, students. Anyone has to ask anything
Clear,
regarding
sir.
clear? So will you be just go home and practice more on this? So I just showed the movement in x direction. What you can do is you can create a program to change the suppose scaling you can do using origin or a circle. Change the circle, it will scale to a particular point, again it will come back. So try to play with this, write programs on this, see how you can manage uh, how you can do this. So today's class where new functions you came across is clear rect, so that if you need to clear the canvas, how to clear it. So we'll give the starting value of the origin as 0 0 and give the canvas width and canvas height, so that will clear the canvas. Next function you came to know, we already did in fifth sem maybe, set timeout. So the set timeout has two parameters, the function to call and after how many milliseconds the function will be called. And to stop this set timeout, we have a function called clear timeout that contains the parameter, the id of the set timeout, where the set timeout is set. So I can call this here and this set timeout will be stopped, so this can be used properly. So this is what we have learned. And if I want to make it more smooth and the movement more smooth, not slow, I reduce the time. So if I reduce the time and then if I start, I try to stop, okay, move again, try to stop, move again, try to stop. Okay, so it's a good animation that we created on the spot today. I hope you learned how to do this, and hopefully you will apply it. Okay, hopefully you'll apply it in your in some of the web pages you can create using animations. Okay, so it's almost time because will be logged out in 5 minutes. So everyone is present in the class today, I hope. Yes. Okay. If you have any queries, please drop in your queries in the Google Classroom for the time being, and or we can discuss it in the next class. Okay. Okay. Thank you everyone for the class. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.